wasting no time. I gotta keep it rolling. Those windshield wipers slapping out the tempo, playing perfect rhythm with the song on the radio. I gotta keep it rolling.
What's up, everybody? Hello, welcome to the Rideshare Rodeo Podcast. Bring the audio podcast to YouTube today because for the audio podcast listeners, I did a 13. I know some of you come over to YouTube and you watch 13. I did a 13 yesterday that I wanted to I'm going to present what I have, and I want to open it up for any of the comments, questions, concerns that you guys might see that you guys want to put in the live chat. I also have this streaming live to my podcast audience, which I have not done in a long time. And I'm not sure how well you guys are hearing. However, I have a couple thumbs up here in the studio on Podbean. So thank you guys. Thank you. Yep. So same thing with you guys on Podbean. Again, it will drop tomorrow. The podcast drops every week on Tuesday, so it might be a little confusing, but this is a live podcast on Podbean. This is a live podcast on YouTube and no other platform. Sometimes we run to other platforms, but I just want to make sure I'm keeping it easy. I got something open on each one where I can see what's going on. I see you guys saying hi in the I should do these more, saying hi in the Podbean app. Thank you guys. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Today we don't, let's leave the comments open. Thank you all for joining on the audio podcast side. For any questions you guys might have, concerns, anything you got, put it in there. I'll bring it over and I'll address it to both, and I'll do the same thing from the YouTube land. As we are getting started here on the YouTube side. So first of all, on the audio podcast side, I got that going about 5 minutes ago or before I started this one. So to the YouTube audience, they're a little more primed. It's been going a little longer. So there's already a handful of people in there. What's up? Looks like there's about 9 people in here right now on YouTube is what I'm seeing. It is a weird time, and it is weird that I do the audio podcast live. I don't do that. Normally it's the one I don't do live. Traveler, how are you? Everybody else just joining in, how are you? Hopefully you guys saw 13. I did give a brief, I gave a brief description. That's why I started the Podbean podcast a few minutes early, because I did give a description to them because they don't get 13. And I'm looking at you, or you guys can't tell, but I'm looking at you in the audio podcast comments right now. And you know why you don't get 13. I gave it to you. And you said that I get it, but it's too short. The performance wasn't that great because it was too short. Things on audio podcasts need to be 40, 60, 90 minutes. Those are kind of metric points. And mine usually runs between 50 and 70 minutes. So you guys love that. For some reason, it never took off. So I've just always incorporated it back on the following Monday. But let's do this. You guys seem to be digging it. I did bring them up to speed with what 13 was this week. And Cray, how are you doing? Thumbs up, cool glasses, popcorn. Let's kick back, but let's also address some things. I got some screenshots. I actually had... I reached out to both companies. I'll totally give you the breakdown here in a second, but both LCSP companies that we will be talking about, I reached out to both of them today. I did get in touch with one, and I got in touch with the head of human resources at one. The other one, I didn't get in touch with anybody, but the website provided it all, which was barely anything. But we'll basically, the Austin one is very basic. I tried, but I couldn't get them. Fresno Logistics, I got their human resource person, Lucy, on. And let's open some eyes, people, because it ain't pretty. I mean, you know me, I'm laughing through it a little bit, but I'm also crying inside. It's not pretty. It really isn't. So, okay. If you didn't see 13 this week, first of all, everybody get that like smashed. Let's get some people in here. I feel like I'm going to be there's Roy on his victory lap. For the audio podcast listeners, if you know, you know, a comment I make often. If you know, you know. Many of you have been with me since the very beginning, May of 2020. I have never missed a Tuesday audio podcast drop. Well, Real Talk with Roy just came into the YouTube chat, and I won't be doing this throughout, but I just wanted to point this out. And if you guys have been with me the whole time on the audio podcast, even you audio podcast listeners who hate YouTube would be familiar because he was on an episode with me way back. So, yeah, Roy, enough of the victory laps. I said this on the Mike Harubi stream today. Roy passed through, and I said the same thing. Oh, he's on a victory lap, and I think he said something along the lines of, "I'm just rubbing it in people's faces." All right. Again, we're moving past the comical because it's not that funny. Okay, it really isn't. When Mike and I, by the way, do the Be My Own Boss podcast, that is not a political podcast, and that is not a podcast that is gig worker only. Mike is helping me get the word out correctly to gig workers. However, that is an all-encompassing independent contractor, traditional, app-based, whatever, self-employed, freelancer, whatever you want to call yourself, people who own businesses for 50 years. That the Be My Own Boss podcast is that, because I'm a true independent traditional contractor too. So I go back into the late 90s doing production. Mike does all kinds of things and works on legislation and is working with lawmakers and things like that. So that is a little something different, but enough is enough. We're going to move into this. I got the screenshots I could, you guys. I think that it'll help me move into this a little bit. Let me quickly give you the rundown from 13. So if you saw 13 or if you missed it, it has been talked about for a minute. One of the companies that we're going to talk about here has been talking about it and minorly deploying it, but not at a rate that we're talking about now. So the two companies that we're going to talk about who are basically partners of DoorDash in all this travesty, well, we'll get there because there's just too much to unpack about every part of this. So let's not get confused on the dates. I had a couple people say, "Well, no, I'd heard that before." No, you haven't. No, you haven't. You may have heard of Fresno Logistics or something, or there's a couple other of those type things that take on a couple people to help fill some things, and they can always say, "Yeah, one day we're going to do a bigger thing," but no, you haven't, because Wednesday, September 25th, so 5 days ago, is when all of these details came out, and they were corporate details that I had never seen, nor anybody I know that I speak with had seen. So if you think you are up to date with what we're going to talk about here today, you are not. Stick with us. So last Wednesday, DoorDash announced publicly, DoorDash will be working with two companies. They will be working with Austin 1 LCSP, and they will be working with another company, which is in Austin, and they will be working with another company in Fresno, California called Fresno Logistics. Fresno Logistics and Austin 1 LCSP are not in good standing with the Better Business bureaus. Many complaints on them, extremely low ratings, lower than DoorDash, actually. A lot of comments I was going through, workers saying, good luck getting paid. But there's a lot more to it than that, too. So if you guys are not familiar, let me bring you up to speed on the term I just used. An LCSP is a local commerce service partner. Now, what that is a group that comes in and can staff W-2 work. So, they can do it to scale. Now they're working with some gig apps. This is a little bit different. See you, Roy. I hope you're sticking around for a minute, man. I think you'll like this after I get past the beginning. So these companies are going to, in two markets, DoorDash is going to move 20% of its workforce to these LCSP companies. The LCSP companies will be the hiring entities. So again, some people were asking, and I just want to clear this up. So I can get on there. Is it going to be an option in the? No, it's not going to be an option in the DoorDash app. In fact, they have made statements that they haven't said we don't want dashers, but you being a dasher does nothing for you getting this job. You have to go apply for this job, and we'll get to it with some screenshots too that I have. This is completely different. This is DoorDash handing over dasher offers, and you being a W-2 employee. And I will also clear the air on that. So when we are talking about W-2 employment, we are talking about hourly. So this is not DoorDash active time. This is not earned by time. This is not any of that stuff. This is a W-2 job where you need to be there the hours that they block you out in. So you will have a shift. You will have a boss. You can be fired. And we will go through the pay and everything else. But 20% of the orders will be blocked out to these two companies in Austin and Fresno. Here becomes the question where I'm getting a lot of mixed signals from people. Will it be? Some people have said, "Oh, cool, they'll outsource or they'll give the W-2 workers all the bad orders, and they'll and all the dashers on the apps will get the great orders." Well, really? Okay. Or was it the opposite? Will they give the best orders to the ones on the app and they give the worst orders to the one or vice versa? I mean, they give the best ones to the guys on the W-2 and the worst ones to the ones on the app. I don't know. Here's what I do think we can all maybe wrap our head around here, because I've been thinking about this a lot since last night. Having a 20% W-2 workforce, I mean, I don't like any of this, but let me put some pieces together. Having a 20% of your workforce in two markets be W-2 means you can constantly. So I almost think doesn't matter. I don't think you're going to see all the good orders go one way or the other. I think it's going to be mainstream. It's going to be streamlined work for the people on the W-2 side that will take away much larger numbers than 20% of the offers that you see. Like, if you think I'll see 20% less offers, that would make logical sense to me. But when I really do the math about how all of this 20% will be just accepting, and therefore dropping delivery times, maybe getting people a little hyped, this, that, the other, I don't think it's going to feel like 20% less. I think it's going to feel like more. I think you're going to feel like in these two markets, give it a month or two to get underway. But I think that you're going to feel I don't want to say half, but maybe closer to half, maybe 2/3. Maybe you're going to see 1/3 less orders. And I know you're like, why 33%? Why not 20? It's just 20 that they're taking, because they're going to take them at such an efficient rate that there won't be orders that go, then raise or whatever they do and go around the scopes. And they're also, so meaning less orders that you'll see. Also, does this start to mean that only every city on DoorDash, most cities are on different things, tier program. I still know a city. I have a friend who works in a market that still has Top Dasher at 50%. We were way behind, like Kim's market here in Denver. They love that. They love it when people argue amongst each other so that they don't have to bother their support team. No, I make this, and it's this for tier, and it's this for gold, and it's this for platinum, and I'm a Top Dasher, and you can't be a Top Dasher. They have the tier program. They love that kind of arguing because it just makes confusion and allows them to have to do less work with their support, which is a long stretch for me to even call it that. But in both markets, 20% of the order volume will go to these providers. So, these will be hired W-2 employees with W-2 benefits, yeah, but they're pretty basic. And I got to say, when we get to the California part, I want you guys who do gig work to really think about this when I get to the hourly and all that, because I want to know what is any better than the Prop 22 you already get with this, other than the fact that you will have a boss and a schedule. I just want to know. Because even the pay, when I was doing it, the pay might be actually worse through this. And taxes are taken out. So if you have good write-offs and stuff, we'll get to that too. These new hires will be separate from the app-based drivers. They will have schedules, bosses. They will take every offer. So that makes it real simple. If you take one of these W-2 jobs, understand that you don't have to anymore worry about acceptance rate, because you will have 100% acceptance rate or you will be fired. In the terms that I saw on both websites and in both news that I was pulling up, there is a zero pass thing, like earn by time right now. That's, in different markets, but I think you're allowed to pass on 1 per hour. You're not allowed to pass on any per hour. They give it to you, you take it. You are an employee. Also, I want to... Okay, so if you didn't see 13, the rest of what I would need to talk about is in 13. So let's move forward to the stuff that I did get to here. So first of all, let's start with Austin 1 LCSP. This is the DoorDash W-2 employee model for Austin, and it is being deployed, it says early October. Both these are different, so I will give you guys what I know. $13 an hour. Now, this is W-2 hour, so that's $13 before taxes, and 10 cents a mile. Now, also, drug testing consent required. Shouldn't make a difference with a lot of people, but I know some who might want to hear that. Drug testing consent required. And when it's drug testing consent, not drug testing upon hire, it's a big difference. Drug testing consent means you consent to an anytime pop test. Just want to make that clear. Just saying. I mean, you shouldn't be doing drugs and driving anyway, but I'm just putting it out there. That is horrible. That $13.10 a mile. Okay. That's absolutely horrible. And we're going to get to the mile thing in a second, because I was a little off on this. Now, that's Austin. You're gonna, I mean, let's be really friendly here for a minute and say that okay, let's just call it $10, because I think it'd be closer to $9. But let's say you're gonna make $10 an hour after taxes. So you're gonna work $400 for 40 hours a week for $400 plus 10 cents a mile. You have to take every offer they give you, no matter the miles. And you'll have shifts. Those shifts can be canceled. Those shifts, they can, just like a bartending or a waiting shift, they can say they don't need you and just cancel it last minute. So you can't 100% count on this stuff either. And now, on top of that, though, the 10 cents a mile, okay, that's not going to be good. But somebody asked me, well, this is obviously with a company car, right? No, this is your car. You're going to drive your car into the ground. Now, let's move on to California. I spoke with Lucy, human resources. She's in charge of human resources with Fresno Logistics. Now, first of all, this is where I want to say both Austin 1 LCSP and Fresno Logistics are both very, very, very sketchy companies. And I don't have an experience with either one of them, but I have talked to a few people today. I have also researched the crap out of them. I've looked up their reviews. I've looked up their standings with Better Business Bureau. They've been in, like, Fresno Logistics been in business for years. They do some Amazon stuff. They do some of that Amazon resourcing and stuff. But the pay, just so you guys are aware, the pay at Fresno Logistics is $22 an hour and 35 cents a mile. Okay. And that's a W-2 driver position. So I'm really glad I spoke with Lucy today, because they are not paying that for the DoorDash drivers. All their other driver jobs do make that. And they have like 4 other carrier spaces they're in. But you will make $16 an hour, which is the lowest California minimum wage. California's minimum wage varies between $16 and $20 an hour, depending on where you are in California. 16 is the lowest, and that's what they're going to pay you. $16 an hour plus, so that's when I added in plus, and I asked her, plus the 35 cents a mile that you offer on the larger driver tier for before you bring this program on. And she goes, initially, but she was very open, and she said that October 15th, there will be a DoorDash mile rate. Now, guys, if you're thinking, ooh, 35 cents can go up, I can already tell you it was a tone thing. It was an everything. I could tell what she meant. If anything, I think they're going to the 10 cents, 20 cents maybe. DoorDash drivers at Fresno Logistics also. And again, mind the word consent. Drug testing consent required. That is not drug testing upon hire. That is drug testing at any time they wish. The one difference with the California one is it does say we don't test for marijuana. So, okay. Hopefully nobody's doing like crack and all this other crap out there while they're dashing. But anyway, they both do drug tests. I thought I should throw that out there. Because even if you don't do drugs, I know a lot of people who get offended by that stuff. Like, I don't want to work for a company that does that. Those kind of comments. Now, here's the kicker. I actually was talking to somebody because of something we had seen in Massachusetts about mileage write-off. And I was like, wait a minute. So how are you going to write off miles? And there was a proposition to go into effect for Massachusetts. I talked about this a long time ago. You guys might remember, where when it was 67 cents, the current write-off is 69 cents a mile. For those of you that don't know, for working miles. But when it was 67 cents last year, I asked somebody, what happens if the 40, if they're paying you 20 cents a mile? And they said that under the new proposition, it would be take the 20 cents off the 67, so you'd be able to write off 47 cents. That sounds weird. It sounds difficult. It sounds exhausting for the people. But, and it sounds like it'd be tough for the IRS and everybody else to keep track of, but whatever, it ain't my call. But here's the thing. I looked it up on the IRS website. And if you are a W-2 employee, you don't get any mileage write-off. None. Zero. So in Austin, you will make $13 an hour and 10 cents a mile. You cannot write off any of those miles, and it must be your vehicle. And that's all before taxes. Here's my thing too. When I was going back and forth to Austin to Para, every time I was there and I would turn on the DoorDash app, they're earned by time, because ours here in Denver is high. I don't see it often. It would only be like in the midnight hours when they really need it. But ours is $18.50 or something. It's pretty high, people have told me. I won't do earned by time because it's too close to a W-2. But Austin, every time I've been there, it's been available on different days I'm there. And it has every time been $13 an hour. So I told you guys for a while, is earned by time a test for the market to see what the lowest they could pay people is? It absolutely was. Austin's is $13 an hour for earned by time. And now the W-2 wants to pay you $13 an hour, meaning $10 or $9 after taxes. Now you do get, you would get unemployment insurance, but realize, guys, you can't go get a job, work for a day and say I quit, or get fired and not show up and then get unemployment insurance. Every state has newer regulations these days. You usually have to be there 3 to 6 months and have to work in a full-time capacity. There's all kinds of things, but the no mileage write-off is the kicker. First of all, the kicker in Austin's $13, but the fact that Fresno Logistics pays their drivers $22, but they're going to pay the DoorDashers $16 an hour, plus as of now 35 cents. But on October 15th, that changes. And the way it sounded was not only not for the better, it's changing. You guys aren't going to like it. First of all, I don't even like it at that. So the 16 to live in California? Are you kidding me? $16 an hour before taxes? Now you're going to take my taxes out? Let's be friendly again and just, I don't know what should we say here? Let's say 30%. Okay, 30%, let's just take 5 off. You're going to at $16 you're going to take home 11. So if you work 40 hours, you're going to make $440 or whatever. It's like, to me, this is so ridiculous. How would you live in California unless 13 of you are living in an apartment? Ford, and then the update. Now we're going to go through some of these screenshots. I did a poll and 80 votes. This was a few days ago. 80 votes. Would you be a W-2 employee and do the 13 an hour, 10 cents a mile? 4% said yes. That would be 3 votes. 3 people said yes, they would. Mostly said no. And then this better be 13 tomorrow. And it was. Just found that interesting. I found it interesting that any people said yes. That's what I'm going to say. I know it's still a very low number, but I find it very interesting that that's the case. Fresno Logistics, here it is. Great pay, total comp potential, 22 to 26. 22 is the hiring in rate. Hold on, guys. I need to. Okay. So 22, but they can raise you up to 26. This does not relate to the DoorDash stuff. Okay. Now, this is there's a review, and this is the best review I found, by the way. It was on Indeed. It's a job, but you have to hustle at this place. Got to be quick pace. Wish it was a little better pay. And this is the $22 people. Wish it was a little better pay for the amount of packages being delivered. Can't really do too many hours though. Okay, now here's another review. It's from 5 years ago. It shows how long the company's been around. But let's see what Mike says, or Misha. Misha gives it a 1 star, and this was on Glassdoor. Horrible company. They are unresponsive and do not like to pay. Now, I have actually heard this from a lot of people. I know that sounds crazy, but I have heard that Fresno Logistics, good luck getting your money from them. Now, they're still a company. They're around. Usually that kind of stuff doesn't happen, but I guess they play the game a bit. Let's see. Okay, which one was this? Was this Glassdoor or Indeed? Indeed does this, and this is, if you've ever gone to Indeed, you'll get a very good reading on a company. You can get all kinds of different stats on companies to see how you feel about it. Salary, meaning pay, however you want to take it. People at Fresno Logistics, salary satisfaction is 43%. So these are people who probably never dashed even. Wait till the dashers get in there. This will go to 22. This is crazy. And then I want to run through these real quick. So is this ZipRecruiter? Yeah. So ZipRecruiter has it down already as no prior delivery experience is required. You are able to operate DoorDash apps, including GPS navigation and troubleshoot tech when needed. You have a valid driver's license, CDL not required. You have to use your own insured personal vehicle that you can use for delivery. Now, obviously, we don't like that. This pay should, even at the $13, I wouldn't take it if you did have a company vehicle, because no matter what the minimum wage is in a state, there's just kind of a common minimum entry wage these days. And to be honest, most places pay 18 to 22 in cities. So like, I know for a fact I can go get a job at McDonald's right down the street from me for $21, and that's to start. Got it out on the sign. So, and that doesn't use my car is my point. But, whoops. I want to take you back to this screen one more time. Wait, right here. I want you to notice the top one. No prior delivery driving experience is required. Now let's look at this second one, and I want you to see the first thing that it says. So as they continue, you are at least 19 years of age and have at least 2 years of driving history. I mean, to me, it's just not well written either. This is always a tell of a company. You will be able to pass a background check and a motor vehicle record check. You can pass a pre-employment drug test. This is California one. We do not test for marijuana. That's the pre-employment on the Fresno logistics site. It says upon being hired, you're consenting to random drug screening, so they can pull it at any time. In compliance with federal law, if hired, you will be required to verify identity and eligibility to work in the United States and complete the required employment eligibility verification form upon hire. This is where it gets really screwed up to me, guys, because listen, we know it's national news now, so I don't have to hold back. But you know what? We know that there are many, many, many undocumented people working the hell out of these apps. I live in one of the highest density markets for undocumented people that are working these apps. Now, I see them every day, but they're working it and not paying taxes because they bought it through Facebook Marketplace. But now they're saying that you're going to be paid the worst of the worst. We're going to pay you the absolute worst that DoorDash pays. The worst. And we're going to stick at the bottom line California minimum wage, even though fast food hires more. We're going to do all that, but we're also going to do all these checks and everything else on you. Why? Till you fix the problem of the illegals, what is this? Just to make sure the illegals don't come get this W-2? Here's what I'll say. The undocumented wouldn't want this. This is crap. So it has nothing to do with that. Here is a question that you guys all wanted answered. So I got the answer here. Can I still work on demand as a dasher while employed at Fresno Logistics? You will not be able to continue working as an independent contractor at DoorDash if you accept this opportunity. But outside of your scheduled work hours, you are able to work with other gig apps if you choose to do so. Now, what does that mean? Because there's a couple things here. First of all, you can never work DoorDash again. You can work other apps, but not when you're scheduled. And again, guys, this is not earned by time. This is not block scheduling. You don't schedule it. Fresno Logistics has been around for a long time. You have a boss. Just like any other W-2, they hand you your schedule for the next week. You might be able to put in a request. Hey, can I please get Tuesdays off? But you know as well as I do, if you've had a W-2, your boss might say, I'm sorry, I need you this week. I can't do that. So flexibility, just beyond gone. And working at the worst payment rate in the country in both these cities. You are accepting that I could walk a block down the road and get a higher paying job at fast food, but I'm going to do this instead and destroy my car. I'm just saying. So that's a big one. What was the other thing I wanted to take away from this though? But you will have the ability to work the other apps. So when will that be? I mean, cool. But like, are you really, dude, if you're working, because it's 40 hours, if you're going to be working 4 10-hour days or 5 8-hour days for this company and you go back to a W-2 setting, I can guarantee you your drive to try and make $8 on Uber Eats is going to be gone on your off time. You're going to go back to the W-2 mindset, which there's nothing wrong with. I'm just saying you're not going to be like, well, on my one day off this week, I'm going to hustle the other apps and make $32. No, you're not. Let's be honest. You're finally going to, take some time off or something. But again, maybe you will, because how in the world in either of these cities, Austin especially at 13, but DoorDash at 6, California at 16, how are you going to pay to live? Unless you have 15 people living in your house who are all working full-time as gig workers. And even then, I think you'd have to have an efficiency apartment to be able to afford to live. I know the cost of living. You would need 4 people all jokes aside, you'd need 3-4 people to just get an apartment. And then We had this, yes. So this is the IRS that I was quoting, and I wanted to make sure you guys understood, because even I was a little thrown. I had to go find it. The IRS has set a limit or cap on the amount of deductible miles you can claim. Now it's moving into a different portion. You cannot deduct mileage expenses as a W-2 employee. Again, you cannot deduct mileage expenses as a W-2 employee because miscellaneous unreimbursed employee expenses are no longer tax deductible. That's huge. All of this is huge. Every one of these things that I just said to you guys is a nail in the coffin. I don't even know what to tell you. I'm going to now real quickly run you through some notes I got. And then if you guys have any questions or anything else, we'll roll through them. But here's what I got to talk to you guys about a little bit. All right. DoorDash, known for its gig work model, has partnered with 2 companies to employ hourly workers with benefits. The shift raises questions about whether the company is gradually transitioning away from its traditional contractor-based business model altogether. DoorDash's local commerce service partner program. I don't know why they have 2 PPs, but at the end, because it's just one, it's L, and that's what I was saying. LCSP is collaborating with at least 2 local delivery providers, one in Austin, Texas, and the other in Fresno, California. These providers are responsible for hiring employees to fulfill DoorDash orders. Both companies' websites indicate they are hiring W-2 employees, a significant departure from the gig economy model that DoorDash and other delivery services have primarily relied on. The development follows months after the U.S. Labor Department introduced a new rule to assist gig workers in qualifying for employee status. Yeah, we know how that went. Anybody from New York in the live want to weigh in on that? How you feeling about that? Seattle, how you feeling about that? That worked real well, didn't it? Despite their small scale, these partnerships signify a departure from the business model that has propelled DoorDash to become a global leader in delivery services. Since its inception in 2013, DoorDash has primarily relied on independent contractors who are typically paid per delivery and enjoy greater flexibility in their work hours compared to traditional employees. I gotta say that no, they don't. I got to challenge that one, guys, because even on the app, how is it flexible? Because unless you're Kim and you have 80+% acceptance rate, if you're me and I'm on the app and it's just saying if you're on the app, if you're a driver on the app, I am. It's saying that you can work whenever you want. You get the flexibility. I don't, and I can't. There might be a little couple tricks you can do here or there, but to be honest, I have to schedule. The scheduling's a week out. There's never anything available. I'm not kidding. There's little half-hour shifts. So luckily, I don't count on DoorDash. I do have them in my arsenal of tools because you never know, and it's whatever. Uber, Lyft, Instacart, and other delivery companies have similarly leveraged gig workers to fuel their growth, contributing to the surge of millions of Americans entering the gig economy. A DoorDash spokesperson explained that employing hourly workers with scheduled shifts of up to 10 hours, ensures a consistent workforce to fulfill deliveries. I got to tell you guys, I think that right there, that comment is one of those DoorDash comments that's underlining, hey, there's a lot of pain coming your way for pushing us into this. Because what I gather from that is, hey, app workers, good luck getting anything. Now back to it. Quote, we remain committed to preserving and protecting the flexibility of independent work that the vast majority of Dashers prefer, a DoorDash spokesperson said. However, we also know there is a small subset of workers who prefer set schedules and the predictability of W-2 work. Let me say again, your boss can give you the shifts he wants, He can say he doesn't need you that day. He can tell you he does need you tomorrow, even though you're not scheduled. He could fire you and without explanation. The only difference would be, it would be like I mean, he could give some dumb explanation, but it'd be like being deactivated without explanation. So now you can get fired, all this kind of stuff. However, we also, which is why we're piloting LCSP in select markets to focus on maintaining healthy supply levels, and supplementing the handling of new and different types of orders, the spokesperson added. So here we go again. So, okay, they're piloting it. I need to say that I can't say which yet, but I also learned that there's 3 other pilot programs coming out before or in the next 2 weeks. 3 other pilot cities. We thought it was just the 2. It's going to be 5. Guys, I mean, this could move everywhere quickly. Things spread quick. Or it could die quickly. It's kind of like up to us. Like, make noise, do things, do what you think you need to do. According to DoorDash's website, LCSPs, local commerce service partners, are independent businesses that operate their own delivery services, employing their own fleet of delivery associates to fulfill orders placed through the DoorDash platform. So, yes, your acceptance rate, even your DoorDash app goes away if you take this, because you won't be working on it. You'll have 100% AR and you're just working for $13 or $16 an hour. And that's just what it is. Okay, so this Fresno Logistics website highlights the attractive benefits. This is where I wanted to ask you guys in California. If you're getting Prop 22, how is the Fresno Logistics offer any better at all, if not worse? Because at $16 an hour, you make 120%, right? So you get 120% of that. I know it has to be active, but if you stay active all the time, if you are on DoorDash and you just take everything, you're going to be paid $16 an hour at 120%. So you're going to make another $3.20. So you're going to make $19.20 an hour. Why wouldn't you just take every order, which you're going to have to do with the W-2 anyway? Why wouldn't you just take every order and then take the Prop 22 difference? That's $3.20 more an hour. And you're still flexible to a degree. And then you will get the healthcare. But I looked into the healthcare. The healthcare is nothing more than what you can get through the Prop 22. It's like a stipend. And you can acquire some paid time off. But DoorDash has already launched. It's the same as they've launched in other markets anyway, some of these gig apps. Austin's LCP1 stated on its website, offers W-2 workers an hourly wage of $13 plus tips. And here's where I found that. Plus the tips are in there, but will they be? It depends on which offers they are. Will they change that once it's onboarded? Because it sounds, here's what I know from PR. When you're launching something, if you haven't ruled it out, keep it in play. So like, they might be talking about, dude, are we gonna let them have tips? They get tips now. Well, we haven't discussed that yet here at Fresno Logistics. So let's do this. Let's tell the news that we're gonna have it in there. And then if we change our mind, we change our mind. It is that easy. And it doesn't make them liars at this time, even if they know they're not gonna. At this time, they're saying yes, tips. I'm hesitant. 10 cents a mile. No, can't write off your miles anymore. Remember that. W-2 can't write off your miles. And so this, this bothered the hell out of me. This is on LCP's one's homepage in Austin. It describes the company as, and this is their quote, offering employees a gig work mentality with a career mindset. What? No. So Fresno Logistics and LCSP1 did not respond to Business Insider's request for comment. So gig workers lack the benefits and legal protections that are provided. Yeah, we know about this from California, but at the same time, whenever those California people that say we want unions, we want to be paid hourly, whenever some things like this and Prop 22 and other things happen, they step back and go, that's not what we wanted. So really it's a very big activist state. And I have a lot of friends out there. I'm not dissing on anybody from there. I'm just saying it's a big activist state. These activists seem to never be pleased. Many activists aren't, but they never seem to be pleased. I mean, they just seem to always be upset. So let's see. Employing delivery workers could address some issues by providing more predictable pay and reimbursement for their mileage. Really? 10 cents a mile? That's going to help me predict my earnings? I'm only going to work for DoorDash 40 hours a week. Basically, no, once you know your market, let's say that, okay, 40 hours, I'm putting in, 100 miles, 400 miles, whatever you're doing, you can start doing that math. That's not going to help you. I mean, might help you buy a third of your groceries one time that month, but that's not income help. So this is where we're at, guys. This is what I got. And to me, in every single way possible, it seems like crap, pure crap. Remember, the IRS has set a limit or cap on the amount of deductible miles you can claim. That's coming from another paragraph. And then specifically, you cannot deduct mileage expenses as a W-2 employee. You cannot deduct them. No, not even with take the 10 cents that they're going to give you in Austin off the 69 cents tax deduction, blah, blah, blah. You don't even get to write off the 59, 69, nothing. You just are going to drive your car into the ground and you're going to drive as many miles as they tell you because everybody's acceptance rate will be 100%. But back to the California thing. I know you might not be watching here live, but I have a lot of California viewers. And I want to say this, if any of them are in there, please tell me out of what I just described. It's not a bad thing. I'm asking actually to know. Please tell me what I'm missing, why you wouldn't just stick. I'm not a big fan of it either, but why you wouldn't just stick with Prop 22 over this. Because Prop 22 is 120% of the minimum wage in that area. California minimum wage varies from $16 at the lowest to $20 an hour. Fresno is 16. So at 16 and the 120%, you're going to make $19.20 an hour. And I know it's active time. So anybody that's going to say, well, but you have to be active time. Yeah, but the people in California I know just stay active. They just take everything and it doesn't matter because if every order was $1 with no tip, you want some tip ones too, but if every base pay was $1, doesn't matter. What you can do approximately $2 in an hour. Some people claim more. It depends on the city you live in. In my city, not a chance I could do more than $2 in an hour because of traffic, getting around, even the short ones. So let's say you're doing $2 in an hour and they have $1 base pay on each. Well, yeah, that's might be your thought about, I might go talk to Fresno Logistics. But my challenge is, why wouldn't you just optimize Prop 22 and instead of $16 minus the taxes, which will be $11 after taxes, why don't you just take the independent contractor pay of $19.20 an hour and stay active constantly? The health benefits, I looked at them. They're a little better with the logistics company, but you do get a stipend. You can get into the Obamacares from Prop 22. I'm just saying this is an easy one to see why why I don't know. I need to know more about the California thing. The Austin one, I don't even know. I'm going to get into the chat in just a second here. I don't even know what the Austin one is thinking. I've got the chat blowing up on Podbean as well. And you guys, I see that I've been keeping kind of an eye on it a little bit. I don't think I've seen a question, but you guys are moving really quick. But there's a lot of slamming going on back and forth. And there's a lot of California bashing too. And please, guys, stop over there. You guys are better than that. You always say you don't come to YouTube because of the drama. So slow it down. California's got a lot of good people in it, okay? So anyway, start putting the questions out now in the audio podcast or on the YouTube if you think I missed it, because I haven't been over to it yet. So I have missed it. But let me know. In Austin, would you do this? In California, would you do this? But in California, if you are a gig worker right now and you get a Prop 22 check, tell me why would you even do this? For other states, I don't get it. Even at like I was doing $20, $25, I wouldn't still do it, because I've said before, like Uber or DoorDash, I would never take a W-2 with them. I can go find another W-2 for those same amounts of money. And I've worked enough years as an independent contractor with those companies where I don't mind working with them on the basis of, hey, here's an order. Do you want it? Sure. Like, that's just kind of a partnership. I don't have to report to a boss. But if I ever had to report to a boss with Uber or DoorDash, you'd have to pay me $100 an hour. And even then, I don't know if I'd do it. I mean, I might. Obviously, you guys might be going, no. But I have other gigs too. But, I might just to try it. But honestly, I would see that a job like that gets fired or something's going to happen or you're going to be bossed around so much. I don't know. I'm just saying there really isn't a price tag on those because I know too much about them. They're scamming extremely manipulative companies that really have no ethics at all. And the two companies they've paired up with, for one, the Austin one, it's hard to tell. They have a lot of bad ratings, but their website's pretty basic. But the Fresno logistics is just a joke, dude. I mean, every single review is horrible. This place sucks. Worked there a week and quit, got fired. Like I showed you earlier, saw a ton of these. Horrible company. They are unresponsive and do not like to pay. Like I said, not just that kind of comment or a rating, but I saw a ton of that stuff about getting paid being a nightmare with this company. What is the perk of this W-2, so-called W-2, which we've all had them? To me, it sounds like, hey, you want to work for the worst W-2 company in California? Doing DoorDash and being scheduled with a boss? No. I'll just go walk a block in any direction and get a job that pays more, that doesn't use my car. What the hell, man? So, okay, we got a little time left here. You guys know I try and keep it to an hour on the audio podcast. And I do have a quick meeting today about the ports shutting down. You guys know I have my hand in a lot of things. I've been part of Trucker Podcast. I've been part of some other things, but I'm involved in this call situation about the ports being shut down tonight and already being shut down today. And for those of you that are not aware, on top of the flooding that just happened out east in Hurricane Helene, our ports are shutting down. They're going on strike. And the predicted model, all the news has it kind of wrong, but it definitely falls $2.5 to $3.5 billion a day for every day it's shut down. Just so you know. Okay, so I'm going to go to the top. I'm going to say hi to everybody again, just in case, even Roy. What's up, Traveler? Hey, Cray. What's up, Roy? What's up, Sim Life? S1 Sim Life. My question is, what if DD hands the large order program to these companies and we get the leftovers? First of all, dude, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but DoorDash already lost its affiliation with the large order program. They get, and what'd you say? And we get the leftovers? You already are. Delivered has the new contract. A couple others do as well. Delivered has the strongest contract with EasyCater. DoorDash doesn't have a contract with EasyCater anymore. They are on the DS or the DSP providers that are just sent them out, and where sometimes you show up to a catering offer and another person's there from Zifty or another app. Now the new one is delivered that buys the blocks. The large ordering the large order program has been, I mean, I know some people still say, no, it's still around. I talked to a lot of people, and even people who have seen one or two or this or that, I question that it's still around. I don't think it is. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe you see one every 3 months or something. I don't know, but it's not like it was. It's not like DD catering large order programs around anymore. That's why, in fact, there are more catering companies than there are food delivery companies, because they saw how bad DoorDash was doing. And Easy Cater hates DoorDash. I know that from working with Para. What's up, Digi Nomad? So what's he saying now? Oh my God, it's the gig god faints. What? I'm extremely politically religious about Diddy. Get the hell out of here. He saw the thing at the top where I said that's not allowed in here, guys. Come on. But it's him, so Tulsa Gator waving from your backyard. He's in Colorado right now. He did a I don't think it was coming from Tulsa, but I think it was coming from Kansas or something. He did a Kansas to Denver curry today, and hopefully gonna meet up with him tonight. I've never met him. Who knows? But this is okay. Sim Life 1. This is going to fail miserably, in my opinion. I didn't think DD could get lower. Really? And dude, DD can go a lot lower. Dude, they have a team working on getting lower. How low can we be? How scumbaggery can we be to the drivers? Because the other thing is, the undocumented illegal accounts are definitely getting a lot of attention right now because of some lawmakers who really were in the dark. I think you guys remember this from the town hall last year, last summer. I brought a lot of those into the know through Stephanie, and Stephanie hooked me up with other people, and Joel Shapiro, who owns Dumpling, hooked me up with the city council in Seattle. I've been hooked up with other lawmakers, Mike Harubi, other people. And so I've been getting that buzz out there too, and saying, guys, what do you need to know? And teaching them how, again, I don't have the date in front of me. We're getting really, really close to my NDA ending for my conversation with the FTC last year. And so I'm good to talk here very soon. And there's a lot of things that are getting closer and closer by the day to spilling out of my mouth, because they're making more sense. And maybe that's why they made it the year. Maybe they knew it was exactly going to be that, but that's kind of strange. But we are going to, the day I'm able to, you guys are getting it all. So don't worry about it. Let's see. I hate to say it, but why would someone do this as a job and not get a normal W-2? A normal W-2. This would be a W-2, but I hear what you're saying. Why would you not just go get another W-2 that pays better and doesn't trash your car? Yeah, I don't know. Plus, most of us here have experience with these companies. And like I said earlier, who wants to work? Who wants to be an employee of one and have a boss? Would you want to be a DoorDash 40-hour-a-week employee that has a boss who writes your schedule and emails it to you? And if you're late, you might get fired. You're going to get yelled at. You will take every order. You will do what I say, but it's my car. I know, but do what I say. Does this sound attractive to anybody? I don't know. Make DoorDashers W-2 pay minimum wage and dictate their hours. Sergeant Joe Smith. Yeah. I mean, there he is. He actually just did a great job of summing this up, man. And if that sounds good to you, I got a lot of things that it just almost came out of my mouth. But if that sounds good to you, I'll just leave it at that. I can't. Last mileage write-off 7.5. Why accept 35 cents or less? Sounds like losing money. Yeah, Tulsa Gator, that goes back to what we said though too. You won't, first of all, once you take this, you are giving away your rights to writing off anything. Mileage. You can't write off any, even though it's your car. W-2 employees in their own cars cannot write it off. Guys, this is just a joke. Can write off mileage or actual expense. No, you can't do either. That's the thing. Sergeant Joe Smith asked that. You can't do either. I'm getting a lot of comments over in the and thank you guys on the audio side for cleaning it up, but you slowed it down a bit too, and I appreciate that. I'm seeing a lot of comments. So might do an overtime after I put an end to this. Since I did this live, I haven't done a live on the audio in a while. I might do an overtime this evening. If I do, or maybe tomorrow with you guys on audio podcast side again, because I'll go through all these comments. You guys got a lot of questions, or I'll you know what? I'll put it into next week's podcast. I'll try and answer all the questions in there because I see a lot of you guys answering them to each other too, but I see some really good questions in there. So Walmart would be better. Yep. Anything would be better. Anything would be better. I mean, and by that, I mean that, like, I'm not trying to diss on a Walmart job or something like that. Walmart, and, even at the entry level, Taco Bell. I mean, dude, just throw a dart. Any job would be better because you're going to get minimum wage and not use your car. This is a company you don't trust already. Scams you, deceives you. And now you're going to go take $13 an hour and 10 cents a mile. You can't write off any miles on your taxes. You are a W-2 employee. So that $13 an hour is going to become $10, if not $9 an hour when you actually get your paycheck. But on top of everything else, you got to use your own car and you got to take every offer they give you, long distance, anything. It's insane, dude. So let's see. Some of this is not related. So can I pull? Let's see. Hey, Right Life of Richard, how are you doing? And again, hi everybody in the audio podcast. I see there's a handful of you in there. So I see that you guys are all having fun, and I'm telling you YouTubers too, that this is what happens. I remember from the days of when I would do the live audio podcast in the room on the platform in Podbean, and I forgot how crazy you guys got and how many comments you have. But also, I got to give this out. I forgot how well versed you guys are and how many I'm watching great questions come up, and I'm watching them be answered too, and correctly. So either I have taught you well, or you guys are just all wicked smart. So are you guys. And but yeah, thank you, because there's a lot of people in there. I maybe shouldn't have done this twice, but I just thought if I was going to do it live on YouTube, you guys should get it too. So let's see. They got hitches. I think this is curry related. Those orders are going to be little to no tip on those orders. It's in the TOS and ETA DoorDash. So wait, Life of Richard, which ones are you talking about? Are you talking about on the are you talking about on the employee side or on the app worker side? Are you saying that the little to no tips are going to be on the app side or on the W-2 side? I'm just curious. I mean, because none of us know. I'm just curious what you're thinking here. And then SimLife1 says, I don't know. This seems like a strategic move by DoorDash, knowing it will crash and burn, but keeping the government off their back. See, okay, so he just hit on something big. But DoorDash can say, hey, we're trying. Yeah, it's not even a, hey, we're trying. This is a forced play. Look, this isn't something DoorDash thought. This is a good idea. Like I was saying, there's enough lawmakers now who are not only aware, like, oh, there's some issues in the gig economy. they are aware. They were trained to call all the apps the gig economy. Every lawmaker I talk to, I say it's the app-based gig economy and it has no definition. I said, because when you say gig economy, it leads you down a trail in every one of the 50 states in the country to what is independent contractor law. And so you see, oh, it's a gig, it's a gig job. Well, that goes to here, and that means you're defined like this and you get all this, you're good. No, that's the problem. There was never a definition made for the app or the gig app platform based workers. And they are not the same as your traditional freelancers, writers, business owners, independent contractors, whatever you're labeling yourself. They're not the same thing. Tulsa Gator just dropped off. I just had to intervene. All you guys on the audio podcast. I don't know how many miles he did, but he just made 1,100 coming here to Denver, and I think he was coming from Kansas. So let's even say Kansas City. I've done that one before. That's pretty good pay, and I know that you guys know it on the audio side too. That's a curry again, by the way, guys, on both sides. Drama. I don't see any drama. California. I shouldn't have even said that. Guys in the audio podcast listeners, do not even get going on that. I did not say it. I was reading a comment from YouTube. I just settled you down. Let's keep it. Let's see. In Oklahoma, $16 an hour, I wouldn't use my vehicle. $50 an hour, then I would. Well, yeah, but comparing Oklahoma to California, I would more compare Oklahoma to Austin. And even that, I'm not sure how that comparison is. And Austin isn't 16, it's 13. So it's even less. Tulsa isn't even busy enough for me to get that 175 rate. Hey, even Oscar, how are you doing? Hey, Boba Sue, how are you doing? Smashing my head, ports again. Yeah, the ports are it's a big deal, you guys. In Massachusetts, Uber passed 32 an hour. I'm in the 20, and DD does this. I'm in the 25 to 30 range. Okay, so Sim Life 1, that's kind of interesting because I know that's an area I know a bunch of drivers. They all made 32 an hour prior to that going into effect, and it's 32.50 by the way, but they all made that prior to that going into effect. We're still yet to see the full results, but that to me was a joke. It sounds high, but that's what all the drivers I know were making, the hustler ones. Again, forecasting some changes. I think there's going to be a lot of problems with that. In fact, I already know of 2 that Uber and Lyft are going to be suing them and potentially not carrying it forward into the next year because of, I don't have it in front of me, but is it Andrea Campbell? Andrea Campbell made a deal with Uber and Lyft in Massachusetts for this 32.50 active time for this, that, the other, same kind of thing as like a Seattle, Minnesota, Prop 22. She had been working on it for years, and Andrea Campbell and Maura Healey, their governor. And so their agreement was, we need all these things for the drivers. And Uber and Lyft said, okay, but same as California, no collective bargaining, no unionization. They said, okay, that's the deal. That's all they asked for. It's all they asked for on the rideshare side. Well, Maura Healey, I believe, is the governor. I hope I don't have these wrong, but Maura Healey is the governor now. She used to be the AG, and now the AG is Andrea Campbell. And Andrea Campbell and her made that agreement, and then Andrea Campbell went out and made a proposal that will be on the November ballot saying, should rideshare drivers have the right to unionize? Now Uber and Lyft is saying, well, screw that, dude. we're gonna opt out of this stupid contract that we barely did with you anyway, and screw it. And I actually saw there was an article about them again using the forcible way that they have in California of leaving the state. They have now put back on the table they will leave the state. Good evening, everyone. Hey, how are you? Hi, and hey, how are you guys doing over there too? You guys are doing great. I love how you guys are like all taking care of it. It's like, just so you guys are aware, with the audio podcast listeners, they're awesome. They listen to me, but like if I'm doing it live on there, I turn the comments off, and then when I turn them on so that I can get through the podcast, I'll see that like, oh, that's a great question. Then like 2 below it, they've answered it. They really get into this own flow of listening, and and then just kind of talking amongst themselves about it. So it's kind of a little different environment. 99% of people want to be a bootlicker nowadays. Yeah. But I mean, I guess Sergeant Joe Smith, what I would say to that is, I hate to say it this way, shouldn't you go bootlick somewhere else where you get paid more? Because in Austin, $13 an hour, even though Texas, oddly, the minimum wage in Texas is the national minimum wage. It's one of the few states that even acknowledges that. Because if you guys are not familiar, I'm not kidding. The national minimum wage is $7.75 or $7.25. That is the national minimum wage. And Texas, that is still the minimum wage. But there's a thing like, just what's the reality minimum wage. So like if you were to be in Texas and say, we're hiring at $7.25, nobody's going to even apply. But so you have to follow the trends. So what I would say there is, like 99% of people want to be bootlickers. Well, at $13 an hour, go bootlick for $20 an hour at McDonald's, or $25 an hour at a better restaurant. Do something else. Go bootlick elsewhere. So, okay. Let's see what else. So, yes, the 32, I agree, is accurate. Good show, Steve. Thank you. That order was on Senpex. It wasn't a curry. It was a Senpex. Okay. 465 miles, 500 pounds, 20 feet long. So you had a trailer with you. Okay. I was skipping past that part up there. So, okay. But then you got to do the 465 back. Maybe check some load boards or something. Less than 1% of workers make minimum wage nationwide. Yeah, of course, dude, because like I said, man, even here in Colorado, our minimum wage is, whatever it is, but like McDonald's down the road from me is hiring at $9 more than minimum wage. And they hire in, and it says hiring ages 16 and up. They'll hire you $9 above the minimum wage at McDonald's up the street from me. $9 more than minimum wage if you're 16 years old. So what does minimum wage even mean anymore? I don't know. I mean, to me, in all reality, you could honestly just get rid of minimum wage. People know what it costs to live and stuff. So just offer something. And if somebody wants to take it, cool, man. Maybe your offer includes housing or something. So you got to take that into account. I would prefer something like that because I know what to stay away from. I know how much it costs me to live a month. So if I did have to go to W-2 or wanted to, I would know, okay, I need this much money, or I need a salary of this or whatever. But don't try and confuse me with stupid minimum wages that like you're saying, nobody even uses that. Yeah. I mean, can you imagine if everybody in Texas have used minimum wage? I mean, even when I was down in Austin, it wasn't quite as high as here in Colorado, but McDonald's there hired for what, $19? Okay, that's $12 above the minimum wage that they use. So guys, that's it. Podbean, that's it. I appreciate you guys. I got to get on. I got to deal with this quick thing about the ports. Hopefully things get settled tonight, because at that amount of money, we're going to have more supply chain issues. we're definitely going to have higher produce costs. That's the one thing that I've been hearing across the board. So watch that, because they already shut down one Florida and one New Jersey dock, and they're supposed to wait till midnight, but they're not even negotiating at this point. But yeah, we're going to see higher prices on some groceries for a little bit. I mean, higher than where we are. I don't even know what's up. Supply chain hopefully won't be hurt too bad, and hopefully it will get its hopefully it will, get sorted out quick, because it looks like it's going to be full at least for a few days, if not week or plus. But you guys, thank you for joining. Do what you need to do, but if you if you want to do it privately, just email me and just make sure you write in there, please keep it on please keep my information private, but email me why you would take these offers. I would love to, and I mean that, I would love to hear why this would sound appealing to you, or why this would be something you'd do. And I would love to hear from the California people. If you're watching this on the replay, I would love to hear from you on, this is actually a very big deal to me, why you wouldn't just stick with Prop 22 and take every DoorDash offer, so that you're still working real hours, but you get paid $3.20 more an hour in Fresno. So, I mean, I don't know. With all that said, thank you guys. Please share this, let people know, make sure that this buzz gets heard, because people need to know that this is what's going on. I mean, this is ridiculous. They went to the worst pay they can possibly give you in a W-2 setting through another company, meaning, and we all know what that means. It's not even a union yet, but they eventually could be a union. But that other company is another hand in your pocket. DoorDash taking your money. Now they're blocking it out to this. They're going to pay you crap. They're taking part of your money. Then a union. Dude, what are you going to do? Work for free? Come on. You're all better than that. All of you. So until next week, peace, y'all.
She was just a baby.